Well, hi everyone, it's Catherine, health and life coach. I wanted to share something with you today that really resonated when I watched this documentary. I don't know if you guys have watched the documentary called Heal. It's available on Netflix. There's people like Deepak Chopra in it. There's Kelly Turner, who wrote Radical Remission. Amazing book if you haven't read it already. There is Dr. Joe Dispenza. So anyways, it's a movie, or it's a documentary documenting scientifically how we have all the resources within ourselves to heal ourselves. And this is proven by neurosciences and quantum physics. And there's a sentence where Deepak Chopra says, accept the diagnosis, but do not accept the prognosis. And here's why it's important. So most of you know that I've recovered naturally from a chronic Lyme disease within a year. I still take supplements. It's been over a year of maintenance treatment. I'm doing great. Flying my hang glider, working, my business, biking, living pretty much a normal life. I still take supplements. And there's articles everywhere saying, oh, Lyme disease is incurable. There's nothing you can do. It's always going to be within you. And I want to challenge that, because we know from the placebo effect, how many stories have been written about patients who, and not only stories, but research about patients who thought that they were getting a real pill for a disease, and they improved and even healed on the sugar pill, which is the placebo. Or people who thought they were sick and they were not sick, but they were being suggested that by someone in authority, oftentimes a healthcare practitioner, and they developed the illness, or they had major health events. So the message that I want to say to you is that if there's an illness that makes its way into your life, whether it's Lyme disease, cancer, heart disease, it doesn't matter what thyroid issues, diabetes, it doesn't matter what the illness is, you can accept the diagnosis for what it is, because it brings you the information for what system is affected and what will be needed to correct it. And your soul, your spirit, is stuck in your body. It took this body for this lifetime as its vessel to accomplish its life's purpose. So your body is the only way that your soul can talk to you, can send messages. And if the message is not heard, after a while, it's going to intensify. It's going to go from, let's say pain, aches and pains, to or fatigue, or brain fog, or numbness, whatever the symptom is, to a full-blown illness. Full-blown illness is just, there's been a misalignment and something out of balance for long enough that the terrain or the structure of your body fell ill to that. And this is a major call to do something else in your life. It's a major calling to reassess your life and to do something different. So here's what you can do, and this is what I've been doing for Lyme disease, okay? Because this is what's been affecting me personally. So when I read things like, oh, Lyme disease is incurable, hi Federico, David. When I read things such as Lyme is incurable, here's how I perceive it, because this is a strong suggestion that can have an impact in my cell or any cells of someone who suffers from Lyme. Or let's say cancer, like if a doctor says, well, you have 40% chance of living and 60% chance of dying. This is a powerful message. It's a powerful suggestion that we make to our own body, because our thoughts, our mental activity has the power to change our DNA, to change our cells. And we know that from epigenetics and psychoneuroimmunology, and I've done lots of videos before. So be careful for what kind of suggestion that you're sending to yourselves and what kind of suggestions that you're taking in from people in authority, meaning healthcare professionals, people in authority of knowledge. So the diagnosis is telling you something's out of alignment, you got to do something, and do not accept the prognosis, meaning do not accept the limiting belief that this person is projecting onto you, because it will limit your ability to access your natural resources. We all have the natural resources within ourselves. When we give the right conditions to the body, it has everything it needs to heal from within. And this is proven many times, right? So for me, again, looping here, when I think about Lyme disease and I read about how Lyme disease is incurable, I accept the diagnosis, but not the prognosis, meaning that right now, my life, I take supplements, I take plants in the maintenance protocol, and I have a functional life. I'm able to do the things that I love. I'm able to enjoy and to have, happiness and spend time with my loved ones. And even though I'd love to work a little bit less, that's another topic. But still, I'm able to do that. My body's able to do that. So I'm like, well, if it's incurable biologically, I say it's fully curable clinically in the sense of regaining one's life, one's functionality, one's happiness and way of being with other people. And it's so curable that it's even when you harness the gift of an illness, because there's always a gift in any illness, any adversity that happens in your health, in your life. When you harness this gift, that means the changes that you do will bring your life in an improved version than before. So that's powerful. So how about illnesses that are curable in the lifestyle, in the quality of life that you regain, because that illness forced you to look at your life and to change the way you think about things so that you can act differently. And this is the power of coaching. I have a client for Lyme. I don't only coach clients for Lyme, but one of my clients for Lyme had major improvement even before implementing any protocol, even before implementing the plants and the supplements and the things that are meant to kill the pathogens of Lyme. She had major improvements from changing her beliefs and reprogramming her subconscious and her nervous system into having beliefs that are a lot more in alignment with how she wants to be. But here's the thing, beliefs have been programmed in our childhood and even sometimes in past generations and past lives. So we need to have tools. This is where my expertise comes in, is with the tools to reprogram these beliefs that make you act and feel differently so you get a different result, so you can regain your health and your life. Because if you continue doing the things the same way you're doing them, because you're programmed, because it's your programming that makes you believe that it has to be this way, results will always be the same or deteriorate by definition. Because if there's an illness and we don't change the way we do things, by definition, it's going to deteriorate. That's the way the soul has to send you the messages through the body. So I hope this resonates for you. I was really called to share this message. It really, really changed a lot of my perspective on any illness when I, hey Sarah, when I watched this movie. I'm talking about the documentary called Heal, where Deepak Chopra says, accept the diagnosis, do not accept the prognosis. We know that we live in a field of infinite possibilities where every moment we can create something new. It's just a matter of focusing our thoughts on something different so that we can have a different feeling, different action, behavior, and then different result. Does that make sense? So I'm inviting you to watch in your life the patterns that are repeating themselves in your life. And probably these are the patterns, if you're facing an illness or someone you know is facing an illness, the patterns in your life, it could be feeling inadequate. It could be having to be always in a survival mode, right? If you had to survive, if you were raised with really strict and rigid and even violence, if you were in a survival mode from very early on, the circumstances in your life right now might reflect that survival mode. And when you try to improve your life and make it better and feel better, and maybe you improve your relationships or your finances, notice how if you have a pattern of being familiar with survival mode, notice how you will subconsciously recreate circumstances of survival, because that's what we call it the critter brain. It's like the most ancient brain. That's the brain that had you survive. That's its job. It's to make sure that you're surviving, right? So if it's not safe for that critter brain to change the way it's doing things, it's not gonna get you out of survival mode. So look into your life if for the manifestations of this pattern of survival, like survival mode. Maybe it's your car breaks down, or there's repairs on the house, or all of a sudden you have, I don't know, thousands of dollars in dental stuff that needs to happen. This is a sign that it's not okay for you to feel safe based on your subconscious critter brain. So it's time to change that. And in order for change to be successful, it has to be safe for your critter brain to move forward in translating the positive intention of that pattern. I hope this is making sense. Sarah saying, you're definitely an example of patterns in illness. You've changed your patterns and have no more chronic illness. Thank you, sister. This is so real. Yes. Federico, accept the diagnosis, not the prognosis. Can that be applied to other situations in life? Totally. And I mean totally in the sense of do not let anyone tell you what you can or cannot do in a situation, in any situation in your life, because you're the captain of your ship. And whether it's your relationships, it's your finances, it's your career, the result that you'll have will be a manifestation of the beliefs, the patterns that are running the show in your life. So if you do not like what you see in your life, it's time to change the patterns. And to change the patterns, we need to change the programming. And definitely, if let's say, I don't know, if we talk about diagnosis in other area of your life, let's say there's relationship. Let's say you see that maybe there's relationship failure or there's patterns repeating themselves. Do not accept the prognosis, even from yourself, of the expectation that you would put on this new situation based on past circumstances. Because right now is a brand new moment where you can create something new just by changing the way you think and the way you feel and the patterns. And that starts with changing the programming that was installed a long time ago. And it's not because it was installed a long time ago that it'll take a long time to deprogram. It just requires the right tools. So thank you for bringing this up. I hope this makes sense. And I would be curious to know for you guys, which patterns have been running the show for you? Thanks, Federico. I appreciate. Which patterns have been running the show, and what are the external manifestations in your life that you don't like and that you would like to change? I'm really curious to know. And I hope this serves you. Accept the diagnosis. Do not accept the prognosis. Tell me how this changes your life, because it changed mine, that's for sure. All right, you guys, I love you. Thanks for being here. And I'm going to go do a video in French now. Same thing. See ya.